Yo, good evening. This has been a couple of weeks in the making. Guys, welcome. This is Eye Test versus Stats. We'll probably change the name to this because I think we're going to have a load of these shows. We may just end up calling it Unpopular Opinions. First and foremost, obviously, for those who don't know me, I'm Rich, the channel Eagle Eyed Football. This is co-streaming, by the way, also on Daddy and the Don. So big up, and make sure I'm pointing the right way. Yes, I am. There we go. Big up Graham as well, one of the hosts for Daddy and the Don. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm okay, mate. I can't wait to get started. Yeah, it's fantastic to do this. This is going to be fun, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, we'll call them the stats. We obviously have Graham, and to my right, if that's how you're looking at it, anyway, we've got Jay. How you doing, Jay?
Yeah, all good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, doing well, doing well. And down at the bottom, we'll start that way. Mr. Troll himself, Jamie Phillips, has intentionally changed his background.
I'm good, my man. Hope everyone's doing well. This should be a fun show. It should be very quick because this shouldn't take long.
Well, to be fair, there is the Champions League game as well, so we'll definitely bear that in mind. And lastly, I don't know where he's disappeared to, but he's left Iniesta and Xavi in there as well.
I'm here.
Yes,
yeah.
There
he is.
Yeah. Yo, big up, people.
Cool. Let's just address a few comments before we get started. To be fair, CM was up here from look at that. That's from yesterday.
I was trying to figure how they got there so damn fast.
Had to come through with a traditional brush intro with popcorn, absolutely. Right, obviously, Graham said he's going to address that, so we're going to leave him to hold the floor with that one. Brain is pissed that everyone's there before him. Welcome, Laura. Laura, thanks for coming in. Big up, Bunzi. Big up, Stefan. Ooh, Xavi Iniesta bigger than Chelsea FC. Don't go play Dental Lampard, please. We'll get into it. Big up, Matt. Stats show that Trent's a better right back than Tony Hibbert. If you want Tony Hibbert play, then you'll say Trent is better right. Oh, my days. Here he is.
This is a lunatic right here.
This is the one. Yeah, this guy said Carrick's better than Vieira and King. Fucking hell, you thought I was bad. big up Manchester Mania and Orest himself as well. I have my own personal views here, but I did say I'm going to moderate. So to start off, Graham kindly sent me a clip from Maka, who couldn't make it tonight. So we'll start with this. There's two clips, by the way.
For me, they were in a team that dominated football for many years. Messi at his very best. It was just easy enough that teams were sitting back, 11 men literally in their own penalty box. All those players had to do was give the ball to Messi and let him do all the magic. It was literally that. I've never been a fan of Xavi. I don't know what the hype was about him. Iniesta, I would say, was better than Xavi, and I could give him some credit for that. But listen, they were in a team. Barcelona dominated European football, dominated the league, yes, other than playing against Real Madrid. But Barcelona were predominantly 70-75% possession-based team. So it aided players like Xavi and Iniesta just to pass the ball. We've watched Barcelona over the years with these quick short passing. They've got 11 men in front of them because they all don't want to get battered 3-4-0. That's why Messi probably should deserve a little bit more credit, because he was able to create gaps, shoot goals that were ridiculous, just him going in and out of players. But if you
Thank God you cut that out.
Iniesta giving Messi the ball at the edge of the box, she's passing the ball, showing them will pass. Messi will go and dribble around three people and bang in. That counts as an assist. I needed to see these players play in a predominantly stronger league, like the English Premier League. In my opinion, if you come to the Premier League and you conquer it, then I give you respect for that. Not saying they were bad players, but they were overrated, especially Xavi. Iniesta a little bit less, he still was overrated, but Xavi was so overrated. I like Sergio Busquets. People slag him off. What does he do? What does he do different to him? You can say, well, you've been hypocritical now saying this and that. Everyone says he's overrated, but doesn't he do the same thing to what Xavi Iniesta did? I don't know, but there's my argument on the case. I would say both yes overrated, Xavi more than Iniesta, and they need to thank Messi for a lot of their statistics and credit of possession-based football, because Messi literally ran that team. Obviously, at the time you had Neymar in that too, but there's my point of argument for that. And yeah, I'd like to see everyone else's opinions.
Graham, take the floor.
Now, obviously, I was saying to Realist and Rich at the start. Now, obviously, I made this statement, and I could probably say to a bit where when I said overrated, I wasn't saying they weren't no good. What I was sort of saying was, for me, they're painted as the best two ever centre mids of all time, and to me, they're not. They're not. They were very lucky in where they played and who they played for and the era they played in. It ain't hard to play short passes. With that said, they are still good players, very good players. For me, I think Xavi's better than Iniesta. And I was watching Jamie the other day on your show saying Xavi's probably the best Spanish player of all time. He probably is. He probably is. But I still don't think that makes him the best centre midfield in these players that get wanked about. Now, I'll make it clear, I'm not saying Lampard's better than either one of them. What I'm saying is if you compare stats, they're very similar. Now, in 30, 40 years' time, our grandchildren, our children, they're not going to ever have seen these players play. Players look on the stats. I look at Bobby Charlton's stats and see his highlights, and I see that Bobby Charlton, what I see and what his stats show, he was an absolute baller for Man United. Now, when you look at their stats, and again, let me go through, I know people will disagree, but Lampard played 429 games for Chelsea in the Premier League. That's just Chelsea. And he scored 147 goals and 95 assists. Iniesta played 442, 442 games. That's 13 more. He had 35 goals. That's more than 100 less. And he had less assists. Add the fact Lampard had another 30 goals and another 25 assists. Now, Xavi, he played 505. He only scored 58, and he only had 129 assists. Now, that's only in the league, but that's for Barcelona. For me, again, I'm not saying they're not good, but when you look at the stats and when you look at where they were playing, it's overrated. You cannot go and say that they were the best ever, where if you look in 34 years' time, you're going to go, oh, they're not that so good. You had Messi to make them look good. You had sideways passing. Jamie, some people say they were assistant players. Would they have been as good as they played together? No way in hell. If Xavi Iniesta, if either one of them played for Chelsea for 10 years, would everyone be saying they're the greatest ever? No. And what's to blame for it? It's this Barcelona curse. These players in Barcelona they play for Barcelona. Barcelona dominated football. That means they're the greatest ever. There is not loads. There's quite a lot of few players in my mind who are better in that position than Xavi and Iniesta. Now, people argue to me, oh yeah, but they didn't have to play that role. They were box-to-box midfielders in a team that didn't need to defend. They both played number 8. He didn't need to defend because most of the teams they played, like Getafe, Levante, Celta Vigo, who are crap by the way, they would probably have one chance a game. It wasn't hard to play against them teams. I'm not taking that away. I know they had the World Cup performance. But for me, that was one of the worst World Cup finals I've ever seen. It was a bit shit. And yes, Champions Leagues, 2 great games. But I'm not going to steal everything that Jay's going to say. But when you say how players play, there's many a player who looks fantastic on the eye. But when you look at their stats, they haven't proven it. Aaron Ramsey was a great player for Arsenal when he first came in. But his injury fucked him. But on his day, he was a great player. Obviously, I'm not comparing him to the two. Don't get me wrong. But he was a great player who got injuries and ruined his career. Now, it's just, for me, that, people can disagree. I'm not saying that anyone's wrong. But when I say overrated, everything was there for them. It was gift wrapped. It was not. It ain't hard to not do well in that team in that era. But then when you look at their stats, you're thinking they should have done better, surely. For me, and I know 60, 70, 80% of people will disagree with me, but there are that few people who agree with me, and the majority of them people are people who don't really like the Spanish league. I don't rate Spanish football. I think it's crap. And that's probably why I come across with that. I'd love to see them in their prime playing for Chelsea or Man United or Man City or Liverpool, see how really good they were. That's basically some of my pitch. Anyway.
Let's go to Jamie Phillips.
Right. It's a good argument he's given there. I have to admit, it's a good argument he's given. Look, when people talk about overrated, it doesn't mean we're not calling the person that we're calling overrated, not class. It's just people have a different terminology of overrated. For me, what you're saying about Xavi and Iniesta were the team. They were the team. They were what made Barcelona go. In fact, they made Messi a better footballer. Them two made Messi a better footballer. Because you talk about stats, they didn't need to score the goals because Messi was scoring all the goals. Suarez was scoring all the goals. Neymar was scoring all the goals. David Villa was scoring the goals. So they didn't need to score the goals. You know, their overall play in midfield of controlling football games is outrageous. You know, people say, they don't have to defend much. They don't have to defend much, because people won't come at them because they don't want to get ripped apart. It's because you've got these two in midfield who control the game of football. It's a bit like Manchester City with De Bruyne and Rodri, or De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva. They completely control the game. And this is the same thing with these two. Are they? I don't think they're the best ever two midfielders. Don't get me wrong. I think there has been better midfielders ever than Xavi and Iniesta. But for this argument purposes, I can't say they're overrated because they controlled the game. You know, Barcelona haven't been the same since them two left. So I think them two and Messi were everything to Barcelona. You know, and if you ask Messi yourself, he would say Xavi and Iniesta are the two best players he's probably ever played with. The Lampard comparison, look, Lampard was a fantastic player, an awesome player. I mean, this argument would be better with Lampard if it was Lampard-Gerrard debate, personally, and Scholes. That would be a better debate. For me, Lampard don't touch these two players technique-wise, but game control-wise. When we look at stats it's not a new age thing now, ain't it? I'm a little bit older, so I don't look at... I've always been what I watch, what people do off the ball as well as much as they do on the ball. What Xavi and Iniesta did off the ball was incredible. They never stopped running. Their play off the ball is outrageous. They didn't let teams breathe. They get the ball back really quickly, and what they do with the ball then is fantastic. You know, everyone goes on about simple 5-yard, 10-yard passes. If it was that simple, everyone would do it, but it's not. The technique you got to do to have this sort of quality. Now, Xavi, I've said, for me, is the best Spanish footballer of all time. I just think he's an amazing, amazing midfielder. For me, he's my favourite out of the two. I think Iniesta was a bit of a late bloomer. He sort of got better in the game as he got into his mid-20s. And he really developed as a footballer. But yeah, the arguments are good. I love a good argument, a good debate. And for me, I can't call them overrated because, you know, they controlled that. They were the system for Barcelona and Pep Guardiola.
Jay?
So, look, I think we need to look at a couple things. I won't say Graham's pretty much said it. I think nostalgia rings true sometimes, where we look back and say these players, we only look at their good games. But I think at that time, Barcelona's whole ethos, academy and structure made these two players look better than they are. So I think a prime example in the Prem is Brentford. Brentford's structure and the way we play hasn't changed all season. We press high and we try and hit teams on the break. That hasn't changed all season. And that works from the B team to the first team, where we've got a crazy amount of B team players in our first team at the moment. Barcelona was like that. How many players didn't make it at Barcelona and pushed throughout the world because their academy was just so good, and the way that they played was just so like in line and everyone was thinking the same way, and had the same style of play from the youth system to the first team. So I think Barcelona's whole structure at that time was better. When they left, don't get me wrong, they were fantastic players. But I think the whole structure around Barcelona made them look better than they were, from points of view, because we say, like I watched some highlights of them to kind of refresh myself, and I wasn't impressed. Like, I'll be honest, he won the ball and then he gave it away straight away, but they didn't show the whole clip. So when we say they controlled teams, yeah, they did, but I think that's because of Barcelona's structure was so good. They knew what they were doing. The whole team, every player was so rigid in what they did that it was never going to change. And I think we look at it sometimes when, like Graham says, how many of us actually watched La Liga week in, week out, like we do the Prem? We're overly critical of Prem players because we see them against the really, really shit teams. And the really, really shit teams in Spain are really, really fucking shit. And I know this is modern day, not compared, because the Spanish league was better compared to it is now. I think it's gone a bit off, yeah. But not what you're talking about comparing Brentford to Barcelona. I'm not saying that. I'm saying structure and how clubs are run like that. I'm not saying that we're anywhere as good as them. Sorry, man. I'm reacting to a comment for no reason. But do you know what I mean? So, like, I highly rate Messi and I prefer Ronaldo. But again, that's just because I've seen Ronaldo in the Prem. Do you know what I mean? And then we're only going off of seeing Messi in other situations. But if we look at nowadays, we bought a player from Celta Vigo, Jensen, and he came to the Championship. And Celta Vigo, mid-table La Liga team, and their players are going to the Championship. Okay, he wasn't starting, etc., etc. There's a whole argument there. But I think the style of Barcelona's play suited them to make people think they were a little bit better than they were.
Realist.
Man said structure, right? He said structure at Barcelona, right? I'll jump all over the place to make my points, right? Let's go to Liverpool, right? Club have a structure in it. Are we going to put Henderson and say Henderson is probably one of the world's best midfielders as well? Because they have a structure and club structure is working, isn't it? Are we going to put Henderson there or Jimmy Wijnaldum?
Yes, Henderson's fucking amazing. And if you tell me he's not, you're crazy.
Oh, so we're putting Henderson up there as one of the world's best. Okay.
Are you saying he's not?
All right.
Prove he's not.
I'll let you talk, big man. I'll let you talk, big man. Then there's Bruno Fernandes with the stats, as Graham was talking about over there. He's amazing as well, isn't it? All right.
He's a good player.
Okay. They had a player named Zinedine Zidane. He has shit stats. Was he a good player? Was he good? Was he entertaining? Was he the type of player we like to see? Then we come to people like, we're not gonna name NBA players, bro. The fact of the matter is, if you man saying that Lampard, because of stats, is an overall better player than these players, and the Spanish league is a dead league, y'all ain't watching the Spanish league. Y'all need to watch it because apparently Manchester United got slapped up by Villarreal and Sevilla consecutive years in the Champions League and in the Europa League. But this is supposed to be the worst league, and the Premier League is a better league. The Premier League is it's more or less an athlete. If you're an athlete, you're good for the Premier League. You have to have that energy and that desire to run and do all that. Technical players, which is most of the best players, they go to Spain. I don't like La Liga. I don't like it. I'm a United fan. But most of the technical players, they go to Spain. Why do they go to Spain, though? Because what? Because the Premier League is too rough and they don't want to deal with that? That's not why they go there. Better football. It's better football. The football is better. If you really honestly think that these players only look good because of the structure, you tapped in the head. Bro, these man was so good that they made a structure was okay already. They made it look even better because you have to have the technical ability and the awareness to know what you're doing. You can't just be on the pitch and expect, because the structure is good, I'll pass the ball and everybody know what they have to do, so I don't have to move, I don't have to do anything. But the fact that this man was winning the ball back so quickly, that says something for them, though. It's nothing to do with the structure. Look, Pep came in the Premier League, he's doing the same thing. What are you talking about? This is whack, fam. You man are tapped, bro. This is crazy shit.
All right, let's move into this because obviously
I'm just listening. Like I said, I've got media here, and we're hearing about like the quality of competition and stuff. Obviously, the league came out as a comparison to the Premiership. Let's talk about the Champions League then, because that's pretty much the only place Barcelona met an English side and stuff. Anyone want to take the floor on that?
It's cup football. We know that from cup games in like FA Cup, League Cup. How many times do the small teams beat the big teams? Come on, man. I don't think it's even an argument. Like, we know Champions League is the daddy. And don't get me wrong, Xavi Iniesta won it 4 times. That is fucking big boy stats. They were quality players. But come on, man. Can't tell me Xavi's the best Spanish player there's ever been.
Right. So on stats alone, if we look at stats alone, Frank Lampard has scored 100 more goals than Zinedine Zidane, and has got, I'm looking at it now, about 50 more assists than Zinedine Zidane, but he couldn't tie Zinedine Zidane's boots. So when we're talking about, and Zidane's probably the greatest midfielder I've ever seen. Yeah, he's probably the greatest midfielder I've ever seen. So, you know, so stats is extremely. It's what you do in a game of football. I don't look it because I was blessed from God, but I am actually 40 years of age, right? So, so I can go back to time where I used to watch Spanish football all the time. You know, when it was available till all the TV companies shit themselves and made us pay for it. I used to watch Spanish football all the time, and every Barcelona game I'd watch, because it's Barcelona. Every Real Madrid game I'd watch and all that. Back then, I think before 2010, the Spanish league was the best league in the world. It had the best players, the best coaches at the time, and everything. And after that, now it's the English league. Now, I'll just say it again, the way football for me is different. I don't go on stats. I don't go like, oh, look, Ian Rush scored over 300 odd goals for Liverpool, yeah? He's not as good as some strikers that exist now who've got nowhere near that many goals, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So you got to go on what you see, what I see with my eyes. And I don't always look at the assists and stats. And now you get stats now, expected goals and all this bollocks. What's that? What's expected goals? You know, I'm expecting some action tonight. I probably won't get it. Do you know what I mean? What's expected this, expected that?
You know what, Jamie? I always bring this up, right? They might think this is tough. They might say I have an agenda against Bruno, and I'm a United fan. Bro, I'll never forget this. We played Southampton last season. Tellez passed the ball to Bruno. The ball deflected off of Bruno, went to Dan James, and he scored, and Bruno got an assist. What the hell is that, fam? That's not no damn stats, bro. That's some bullshit, bro. Put them stats in the bin. I need to see what you're showing me on the pitch, bro. I want to see that. Well, you play shit for 90 minutes, and then you score a penalty. Like when we played Brighton and we get that penalty after the whistle was blown. He scored that day. Oh, he had a good game. He scored a penalty after the final whistle was blown, bro. Bullshit. I want to hear about these stats. Stats are dead.
Assist is the one that gets me the most. Assist stats I hate, because assists now count. So if you have a shot and it rebounds off the goalkeeper and someone else puts it in, that counts as an assist. It's a nightmare. You can assist a 1 yard pass and someone shoots and it's an assist on your record. But what no one sees is the pass before, you know, that splits the whole team open, and then someone does that 1 yard pass and they get the assist out of it. And that's what Xavi and Iniesta used to do to the likes of your Messis, your Neymars, your David Villas, your Suarez at the time. This is an amazing argument. It's an amazing argument. We're putting these two players on a pedestal. Some people will call these two the greatest combination ever. I don't. I just think what they were at their time was the best around at that time. And the fact is, look, they didn't just do it for Barcelona. They won World Cups and European Championships, yeah. And most of that Spain team was Barcelona players at the end of the day, you know. And you know, Messi's never won a World Cup for Argentina. That's what gets labelled at him all the time. But the man Spanish who'd win World Cups, you know what I mean? Because he had them two playing with him at Barcelona. You know, the way they controlled. I know people, you guys might not think they controlled games. I mean, I'm privileged to watch these two, and for me at their time, I remember the Barcelona and Man United Champions League final when Alex Ferguson came out and said we couldn't get near them, we couldn't touch them,
ripped us apart,
and they just Xavi Iniesta and David Villa and Messi that day just completely run one of the best English club sides at the time off the park in a final. Completely embarrassing.
Twice.
Completely embarrassing, yeah. They're just, I mean, they won back-to-back European Cups, European trophies. They won a World Cup. You know, I just can't.
Fuck off.
Paris is better than Vieira. I just can't. Oh, yeah, the stats thing does.
That's trolling. He's trolling.
The thing is, yeah.
Stats do me. I can't stand stats.
But the thing is, that's what matters in modern day. It matters. Stats matters. When you go look at a player, it matters. And you'll say Zidane's stats are poor, but Zidane's stats are still probably better than Iniesta's.
Only
So,
just.
yeah, but they're better. And
Yeah, but the thing is, though, these players when they play,
Zidane didn't play for the same team the whole career and get put on his platter and play in front of 11 men and have it easy. Zidane was a battler. He was an absolute baller. Michael Laudrup, absolute top gear player. That never gets the credit. No one ever talks about him because no one ever remembers him. Platini used to play that deeper role. What a quality play he was. I just get fed up when everyone just goes, they go, oh, this Xavi and Iniesta are so bloody good. It's all opinion at the end of the day. And my opinion is they are not as good as they were. If they came to the Premier League and bossed it, then maybe changed it. Because for me, everyone's got an opinion, and bless SSS, maybe he needs to get his head checked, but some of his comments are absolutely ridiculous. Spanish league has not been the best league. It never will be the best league. The Premier League has the best players. And I'll tell you why most of the Spanish players don't go to the Premier League. It's because they earn more on less in the Spanish league because of the tax. And all the best players just go to Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid. The bottom 10 in the Spanish league is dreadful. Cadiz, Getafe, Espanyol. None of them 10.
Well, you reckon these teams?
That's the start of it.
Hold on, Graham. You think that these teams down here in the bottom? No, I don't like La Liga. I don't care for it, right? Because I'm a United fan. But what I'm saying is, you think these teams in the bottom there won't give Premier League teams a run because
Norwich wouldn't get relegated in La Liga. If you put Norwich in right now,
but what I'm saying, this is the same Spanish teams that are facing English teams and other teams in the Champions League and the Europa League, and they just brushing us aside. So what are we saying?
It's cup football, man. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you ain't playing one. It's not one game. You play 2 legs. You play 2
consistent.
Bro, Bayern Munich will come to the Premier League and wash teams, right? They'll wash teams. Villarreal got a result against them, and they played better than them. If you watch the game, they had a better game than them. Villarreal was all over them. I know we want to say this shit, and I hate Villarreal because they beat us in the Europa League final. But come on, some of these teams, they just coach differently, and they understand how football is meant to be played. It's not just about I run more than you. It's nothing about that with them. Them man play football. The Premier League
so there's no skill. There's no skill in the Prem. Ericsson. Okay, it's not La Liga. It's not La Liga, but Ericsson didn't go from like a Tottenham team who did okay but won fuck all to Inter and just bossed it walking around.
Yeah. Luka Modric.
Aubameyang left Arsenal where he scored a couple goals to go to flipping Barcelona and scoring goals for fun over there.
Exactly. That's proof. That disproves your own argument.
This Barcelona team was shit.
Adama Traore. What's Adama Traore doing there?
Look at Adama Traore.
He's really good on the fucking eye, though.
You're making a point because Barcelona team was shit. They're just coming back, bro. They're just building.
The Barcelona team that just got £1 billion loan because all they did for years was flood Spanish football, all the best players and put them into their academy. That's what they did. How many ex-Barcelona players are throughout the globe? Because Barcelona's fucking academy was ridiculous and just blew everyone else away. It's exactly what Chelsea do in England at the moment. It's exactly what Chelsea have been doing.
But whose fault is that? That's Barcelona's fault. That's Barcelona's fault then.
Yes, because you're buying leagues. You're taking players.
Why is my academy producing good talent?
That's what they do. They bribe parents. Come to Barcelona. It's the best team in the world. You'll never play for the fucking first team.
If your team can afford to get players to come and show the parents that, we have good facilities, we have all this, to sustain your kids and give them a good future here, becoming a footballer, what do I have to do with anything? What do I have to do with it?
That destroys leagues. It destroys grassroots football.
What the hell talking about grassroots football over here? We talking about these man here, bro. If your team wants to get your money and go buy your players, get them in. They ain't got
Oh
nothing to do
right,
with the
okay, yeah.
grassroots
Oh
football
fuck
over
it.
here.
Every club go and be a billionaire club and be on a level playing field. That's not how it works, is it? Come
That
on,
doesn't
man.
work like
Every
that.
sport in the world has a top earner and a bottom earner. It's fact, isn't it? But within
Bro,
that, you
the
don't.
fact
How
that
many?
you have
How
a
many
problem
Chelsea
with these
players are
man
on
bringing
loan?
in who they
How
want.
many Barcelona players are on loan? And will never
Oh,
play for the first team.
Rich,
That's
I feel
the problem.
this is probably
What are
the
you
guy
talking
that
about?
said, this is probably the guy that was on AFTV that said Chelsea loan players are causing a problem. This is the guy right here, fam.
They
That's
are.
the
What are
guy
you
there.
talking about?
That's the guy there, Rich. That's him.
What are you talking about?
Him,
It
bro.
does.
It's him. That make no sense, bro. So United,
Listen, I don't listen to anyone else. Only I'm right. What are you talking
United
about,
did this
bruv?
for years. United did this for years.
No, they
Players
didn't.
be buying.
No, they didn't.
Are you a United fan? Do you know what they do?
I used to be a United fan, yeah, when I was a lot younger, yeah.
Oh, wow.
But you
So
don't have
you
to
did-
be
you
a
did
fan of a
jump
club
ship.
to know what they do. You
But
don't have
then
to be
you
a
won't
fan
be
of a club.
chatting that crap, though. That is truck, yeah,
Well,
and this and all that crap. You won't be saying that.
But
You won't
United
be
weren't
saying
doing that.
Or
They weren't
United
taking
doing
things
that.
from
We're
everywhere.
still doing that. We still pay for
Are
kids
you?
all
Are
over
you?
the world and bring them
Are
in.
you
And
winning?
don't
You're
do
winning
nothing with them.
everything. You put loads of
Don't do
players
nothing
out on
with them.
loan. You don't.
We
Right,
don't
lads.
know nobody.
You don't.
Lads, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Phil, let's hear
You
what
all
you've got
right,
to
Rich?
say. Then I'm going to
How's it
actually
going,
ask a
mate?
question. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. You done at Wembley?
No, I won't be, mate. If we get to the final, I'll try and get one.
Lovely, lovely.
You don't want my bad luck, Tess, going there. Last few semi-finals.
That'll be good. What's
No,
your thought?
I
Your take on
basically I
this?
thought I'd better get on before Realist kills Graham and Jay. Better get in there and break it all up. But yeah, basically I didn't hear the whole of the start of the stream, but obviously I spoke to Graham a bit yesterday. So obviously like my take on it is I can see as well where Jamie's coming from as well with the way they play. So obviously like you've got players that are really good on the eye, do things like it's sort of like second nature. They do it without thinking. But then I do get Graham's view where's the stat for that? What does that give the team? So I know he was saying like Messi was getting the goals because of these guys. But just going back, like without digging up and overly researching it, I'd always think, I remember like if Messi was injured for a prolonged period, Barcelona suffer. Ronaldo was injured for a long period, Real Madrid suffer. Where if you took one of the other guys out, those guys would be able to carry their teams for a certain, maybe like for 3 or 4 games, not for a whole season, but just to get them through injuries. And sort of trying to bring it into like a modern era, you've got a lot of guys sort of like bum Pedri quite a bit. But if you compared his stats to like the Fodens, the Mounts, the Smith Rowes of the Premiership, I think all their stats stack up a lot better than Pedri's. So I am sort of like Team Graham with this one, where you're paying a player X amount of money, and I get the reference of Zidane and Lampard not being able to lace his boots, but you've got to provide some. You're not going to get points for style. It's not gymnastics, is it? You get points for scoring goals. So that's got to come from an assist or someone actually taking the chance.
So with that, what you just said there, then that means Lampard's a better player than Zidane.
I wouldn't say he was a better player. Like technically, you know, if you were going to look at it and you were just going to say, "Oh, this player's awesome," on the eye, yes, Zidane. But if you were going to go out and spend 100 million on a player and sort of take the money ball idea, sort of from baseball, and say, "I want to get a player that's going to earn me this many points by himself," you'd go out and buy Frank Lampard probably for a cheaper price.
Yeah, but the money ball thing is like if you got to do that with a whole squad, not just
I get what you mean. But don't get me wrong, I don't think any of these players are bad. Like it's like a ridiculous debate that we're arguing that.
I don't think anyone thinks they're bad.
Like if you take
if
you take Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard, and saying, "Oh, who's the best out of those 3?" You think, well, none of them are crap, are they? They're all like going to be like Premier League Hall of Famers at some point.
Yeah. Well,
I think the real problem is. Sorry, it's only quick. Sorry, I think the real problem is it's hard to compare when players didn't play against each other. Like we get nostalgia for the older players and say they're better than they are now, but like it's hard to compare. Sorry, Jamie.
No, I understand the nostalgia. Nostalgia is massive in society now in pop culture, and everyone loves nostalgia. You know, I just went and got myself an N64. Why not? Because I love nostalgia. You know what I mean?
I saw one the other day as well.
So yeah, nostalgia is hip at the moment, but you know, I'm just from a generation. I'm old enough to just watch these guys before stats were a massive thing. And you know, one thing I do hate, I sort of hate the term system player, because what it is, you've got to be good enough to play a certain system. So could Lampard could Lampard play in Barcelona's system and make it work? I don't think he could. doesn't mean he's not a fantastic footballer, if you know what I mean. So, like Man City, take Man City and Liverpool, for instance, probably the two best teams in Europe at this moment in time, play completely different styles and totally different systems. But, Guardiola wouldn't buy players that Jurgen Klopp has bought at Liverpool, and probably Klopp couldn't afford to buy the players that, Guardiola needs certain players to play his system to make it work. And that's why they're so good. He couldn't, Ronaldo wouldn't go into a Manchester City midfield because it wouldn't work in the system. Doesn't mean he's not a crap player. It just means the players there to work that system are just a little bit technically better. And that's why I really appreciate the likes of Xavi and Iniesta. But that's just coming from an old fart like me. I mean, I'm not into the stats now. Stats are just not my, stats are not my thing. I don't look at stats.
Just like I said earlier on, in 50 years' time, some of us might be dead and some of us will be quite older. Phil will definitely be dead in 50 years' time. Sorry about that. People are going to go look at these stats and they're not going to go, they were brilliant. And I know there's always arguments for the eye test, is what people say. And, if you want to say the eye test, Jack Wilshere, one game against Barcelona, he dicked on them. And, he showed he's a world-class player on his day. But unfortunately, injuries done his career. And what might have been, we never know. Adama Traore for Wolves. He is an absolute beast. He frightens me. But look at his stats. He didn't score a goal for 2 years, so he's overrated. Now, I'm not saying, if you look at Iniesta, one more stat here. Iniesta scored 2 goals in his last 107 games for Barcelona in the league. 2 goals in your last 107 games for Barcelona. Yes, he was older, but if he's that good, he should be at least getting 3 or 4 or 5 a year. So that's another thing that irritates me with it. And a part of me does annoy me when people come on going, English players get overhyped. I think Barcelona players always get overhyped. Like I said, Pedri's a good player, but he's extremely overhyped at the moment. He scored 3 goals last year. He scored 4 goals in 50 games in Barcelona. Let's not go excited. They play a system where he plays number 8. Doesn't mean he's defensive. In that system, he should be getting at least 7 or 8. I remember Aaron Ramsey was getting criticised because he didn't score enough goals. He was a number 8 for Arsenal. So, yeah, I get where everyone's coming from. I know what people are saying. I'm not dismissing it, but I'll always have my opinion on it. And I'm glad that people do agree with it. I know some people in the comments who need to get their heads checked, Stefan and SSS saying that La Liga is better than Premier League. Let's know what they're having for breakfast, because I don't know what they're taking. Because for me, the top, if I did a combination Premier League and La Liga, I'd be pushing it if I put 6 La Liga teams in that for me. And that's not biased, that's for me. I've seen these teams play. Why do you think the odds for over 2-5 goals are always really high for Spanish league? Because 0-0 is their specialist. Because it's boring football.
It's a different style.
It's boring football.
Let me say this in terms of what Jamie was saying about system players. Every single player is a system player. You like Frank Lampard. Yep, quality. He's won leagues. He's done it. He's done well. But tell me, Frank Lampard had Didier Drogba up front, who was a striker that actually didn't score that many goals, who set up Lampard a lot of the time. Every single player is a system player in that sense, if we're talking in that way. Yes, Barcelona. Yes, Xavi and Iniesta, 2 important central midfielders in how they control the game. Barcelona haven't been able to control games since Xavi and Iniesta have left. Have a look at Barcelona against Liverpool, losing 4-0 away at Anfield. 4-0 after being 3-0 up, which Messi dragged them to that one. But this is when we're looking at football, you see, and when we're using the eye test, I always believe stats should only back your points that you see with the eye. And when you're looking at, because if people judge players based off of stats, so this brother scored so many goals, and you know what, he must be quality. In that way, then people would say Alan Shearer is better than Thierry Henry because he scored more goals in lesser teams where it's not built around him. He's not won as much, those things there, and he's still doing that, and he's still scoring goals. So it's very difficult to pinpoint players off of stats in that way. And when you're looking at it, let me just add on this as well. Iniesta and Xavi have dominated in Spain as well, international football, where it isn't set up in their own way. Spain never had a striker in the year that they won the World Cup. Was it the World Cup or was it the Euros? They never had a striker. I think it was the Euros, actually.
Yeah, but wouldn't that suit them though? Sorry for jumping into it. Like, because Barcelona didn't really play with a striker as well. They played with like a false nine, didn't they? So the Spanish system setting up like that sort of played into their hands away in the way they play.
But with Barcelona, it's hard for how can you? I don't understand how you can expect Iniesta and Xavi to score as many goals when Lionel Messi scoring 73 goals in a year. 70.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong with like the stats thing. Like I agree with Jane Graham. Like I do love a stat and want to see an output, but like when you bring in Zidane into it, like Jamie's mentioned, I can't knock that he's one of the best players to ever like kick a ball, but you can't compare him to like a player now because of the way the game is. The game's more attacking. There are more goals. Teams don't defend properly anymore. So Zidane was probably getting bossed out, especially when he was playing in Italy. They just sat there and played for like the 1-0, didn't they? So he had less chance to score goals, so to speak. So it is hard when you're comparing generations. Because
let me check out a few questions, and then Santi, I'll get you to have your say as well. So Graham, just address this comment, by the way.
Yeah, no, that's been put out of context. Hanif said he'll get rid of Ben Chilwell. He'll get rid of him. And I said Ben Chilwell is probably a top 10 left back in the world. I said top 10 because for me he is. He's one of the best in the Premier League. And Hanif said he'd rather have Alonso than Hanif. So for me, that's completely out of context and wrong. I didn't say that.
That's what I just
So,
said.
yeah.
Phil,
he needs to say he wants Alonso over Chilwell was more disturbing for me.
Yeah. Phil, for your comment on about like getting output, where would you put Ronaldinho then?
So with Ronaldinho, he was a very frustrating player. He was someone that you'd probably want to see in like a futsal tournament or something, or like something in Brazil where they're just playing sort of like cage football. So like it'd be really good, entertaining, sort of like circus football. But for me, he was a very frustrating player. When Barcelona needed him to step up, I don't think he did often enough. So he'd be one of those players that I'd always say never fulfilled his potential.
I'm the same with Neymar. I think
Neymar's shit.
I think Neymar's the most overrated football.
Yeah, there you go. We can agree, Jamie.
I can't stand Neymar.
Yeah.
Ronaldinho was a massive party boy.
He was.
He loved it.
But so is Neymar though as well.
That's the thing.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Neymar, we all know Neymar.
Sorry, lads, 1 second.
Okay. So I just jumped on real quick to just kind of just say like you can manipulate stats any way, shape, or form that you want. You could if you guys feel free to give me any player to compare to Iniesta, and I can just pull up every stat in the book. I can show you every little thing, and you could say, okay, well, Iniesta's better than this, or Jordan Henderson's better at this. But the thing is, like, when you look at, and I can even share the screen, but if you look at Iniesta's passing overall, like throughout his entire career, like his passing completed percentage was 86.4%. Short passing percentage was 92%. Like,
so was Joe Allen.
But okay, but that's what I'm saying is like, and you can just go ahead and just compare every little thing, and you can just make just an agenda based on the numbers. It really is just the matter of what role they play, and like all those little nuances affect it so much that it's really, when you just look at the numbers, you could manipulate everything. You can't necessarily, like the comment says, you can't necessarily just manipulate the eye test. And that was just kind of the thing that I wanted to share. Like, feel free to compare any player with Iniesta, and I can share the screen, and we can just do a side-by-side comparison and say, okay, well, this player is better than this for this reason.
Yeah, but passing the ball sideways is not really that hard, is it?
He didn't pass the ball sideways though. Come on, Graham, you know that as well. They didn't.
I'm just trying to get a reaction now. I'm joking. Me personally, listen, Luka Modric is better than Iniesta. I think
that ain't the worst shout in the world. I mean, it's not the worst shout. I mean, you're wrong, but it's not the worst shout. It's not the worst shout in the world, though. It's not the worst shout. Modric is a fantastic footballer. I don't think he's ever got his real praise. And that, but he's a tremendous midfielder.
But he's definitely not a stats man either, though.
No, exactly. Oh.
Yeah, but what you got to remember, T, is that I wasn't saying stats all the end all, but the reason why I call them overrated is because they considered the two greatest, and for me they're not, and the stats back that up. Yes, they play well, but like I said, Modric and Zidane are fantastic footballers. Well, yeah. They've gone across the different teams. where
No.
they've stayed. But let's not accept that Iniesta plays in Japan. That's like me playing for the under-9s. That doesn't matter. They both played for they both played in Barcelona, and for me, it could have just been better for what the praise they get. That's basically my argument.
It's generational. Like I can go back to the 70s with Liverpool. Yeah, Kevin Keegan and John Toshak were the best partnership, strike partnership in the world at the time in the 70s. But you could probably find two better forwards somewhere in the world at that time. It's just, it's a generational thing. And in the mid 2000s to, late to the 2010s, Xavi and Iniesta for that period were the best midfield combination anywhere in the world. Now, are they the best midfield combination of all time? That's a different argument. But for that moment, for that time, no one was better in that midfield competition. It's like Real Madrid now. Kroos, Modric, and Casemiro are probably the best midfield combination for the last 7 years. But their stats are not amazing. But they control games. And that's why Real Madrid won, I think, 3 Champions Leagues in a row, because their combination, that three of us combination, completely control games and let Ronaldo do his thing up front.
Can I just say something? Can I add something before I leave? I think when we're talking about Iniesta and Xavi in a midfield, when we talk about football and these players, we talk about revolutionising the game. When we look at Johan Cruyff, Ajax, Barcelona, revolutionising football, making it total football, changing the game. Arsene Wenger, in a way, revolutionising the Premier League. This is why he cements his greatness, not because of the amount of Premier Leagues he's won, but because of what he's done in the time there. And that's why Andres Iniesta and Xavi Hernandez are up there, because they changed how football was after them. And look, Barcelona, they've suffered without them. Bayern Munich, Pep left them, went to Bayern Munich, hasn't won a Champions League. And it's not just the Messi effect, because since they've left Messi hasn't won a Champions League either. And then we're looking at Man City, he's still getting those things thrown at him. But with Manchester City, the reason why they are so amazing and why Jamie only has 1 league title to his name is because how their midfielders control games. And Iniesta and Xavi were the best at doing that. That's why they are revolutionary in my eyes, and that's what we've got to rate them. But besides stats,
cool. Santi, just before you get into this, and then we were from Realist and Jay, because we ain't heard from for a while. Tariq, just shout your channel. Obviously, you've got to go for a watch along. Same with you, Jamie, as well.
Big up, man. Yeah, I'm just doing a watch along on Chelsea, Real Madrid. So yeah, come join me there. Big up, people. Tariq Talks, you know where it's at already. Thanks. Big up the panel, though. This is what YouTube's about, having these discussions. Yes, it might get heated at times, of course, but that's just the passion for the game. So love to you all, people.
See you, T.
See you, man. Peace.
Jamie.
So yeah, Jamie Phillips Football Chats, as T's doing. He's doing the watch along the same as me, so I've got to go and grab the views before he gets them. But no, big up to T. Big up to everyone on the panel. Nice meeting you all as well. It's a great argument, and I look forward to more debates like this in the future.
Oh, they're coming.
Sweet. See you later, guys. Much love.
See you later, Jay.
See you later, guys.
Jay, Frank Lampard. Do you feel, and I'm not going to discredit his goal scoring ability and what he did for Chelsea, do you think that was assisted with the fact that he had, at one point, was it Makalele and then SCN? Do you think that helped his cause? And obviously taking penalties too, which is part of scoring a goal, so I'm not going to...
Defo got to score penalties.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Chelsea at the time were not the Chelsea of today, and obviously they just started their journey then. So, like I say, it's a really hard one to call. But yeah, I think English players get overrated, but I think they also get over criticised as well, because we watch them too much in a way. I'm not saying that these guys don't watch Spanish football, but they don't watch it like match of the you don't watch a Spanish match of the day, do you? Come on, man. We follow football in the league that you support. So yeah, look, I'm a massive Lampard fan. Makalele and Essien helped, but you can say the same with the team, other players in Barcelona's team.
Cool. Santi, I know you're itching to do this stats thing, but there's 2 more people that jumped in.
I'm just showing just random stuff as we go because like it doesn't really necessarily matter. Like for example, you could easily put that Modric is more of a dribbler type, Iniesta was a little bit more of a short passer type. Like the nuances get so deep and so like just little by little that you could say, well, Modric was a better dribbler. Modric, had more of this, had more of that, and then but really it's just every player is so different that like all stats almost don't necessarily matter to an extent. And that was just really the point that I was trying to prove. I don't really want to go on like a deep tangent because nobody wants to see a bunch of numbers. That's really boring. Let's be honest. So that was it. That was just what I was jumped on to say. I do actually have to run, but I'll definitely be in the comments and
shout out your channel before you go, Santi.
Channels United Abroad. Just focus on some of the sports abroad as well as a little bit of football here and there. So you guys have a great one.
Yeah, man. Right, let's try and wrap this up before the Champions League game. I'm sure we're all itching to watch it. Ollie, welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
Hey, what's your thoughts?
Pardon?
What's your viewpoints on the whole Xavi and Iniesta situation?
I don't know what happened. What happened with them?
You were there, Ollie, man. Sorry, Rich. Sorry, Rich. What? I mean, Ollie, you are a flip-flop as well, man. Wake up, man. Listen, first of all, Pedri is better than all those four man you told me. Go watch the games. Go watch the stats. He's a young kid, stepped up. He's better than Jack Wilshere when Jack Wilshere came into football. Oh my God, I can't believe it, man. Ollie, put yourself on mute, man. You deserve a sin bin, but big up to you, Graham. You know what? What can I say to you? Yeah, I can't believe. Look what you caused. Look what you caused, Graham.
A lot of people agree with me, though.
Listen, they're blind. Then I'm being biased.
You said that he's better than John Terry, and that's deluded to me.
He is.
No, John Terry is better than Saeed.
That's your opinion. You're not entitled to it.
I've asked 45 people. 42 said John Terry. I asked 5.
What is their age range?
One of them said, is that person deluded? John Terry.
Listen, first of all, if you look back into his career, right, and look where he started, the teams he played for, you don't take any of that into account. In terms of Xavi and Iniesta, I'll say it right now, Lampard is nowhere near them. Xavi and Iniesta are sexy footballers. Look. That's worrying, that Ella. I'm telling you, you need to go see the cops. But I'm just saying, Xavi and Iniesta, it depends on what you like to see. Like, I don't know what Ronaldinho's numbers were. They probably weren't that high. But you're telling me that guy wasn't a bad boy. You're telling me Zidane wasn't a bad boy. I'm telling you, look at today's footballers now. When you look at Chelsea's loanee at Palace, Gallagher, you're telling me he's trying to be Xavi and Iniesta because they've changed the game. They changed look at the type of football they played, where we've now brought that type of football into the Premier League. If we didn't, we'd still be back playing that Patrick Vieira stroke Dennis Wise football in the middle. I'm telling you, these guys might not have the numbers, but 2 trebles, 2 European Cups, a World Cup. These guys are rated in their homeland as 2 of the best players of their generation and maybe of all time as well. They're in that list and in that discussion. They are levels ahead. It's not all about physicality. And I don't know the discussion you've had now because I've just jumped in. But I'm telling you, when you look at football, right, and you might look at it from a numbers point of view, I don't. Because if you look at it from a numbers point of view, I'm telling you, I'll rinse you with the whole Lampard and Thierry Henry thing. And I can say that because Lampard's got more goals than Thierry Henry.
Can I step in? I just want to make clear. I never said Lampard was better. I'm just using it as a comparison.
No, I know that. No, this is that's at the bottom of here. I'm not saying you said that. I'm talking about.
I've said that throughout, Hanif. I said that they're not the 2 best midfielders that everyone said. That's why they're overrated. I've just compared these stats, right? And you're going to say about Henry and Lampard. Lampard scored 2 more goals, but Henry played 300 games less. So that's a complete
that doesn't matter. It's about goals. You've changed. You're a flip-flop. You flip-flop all the time. You've got to go by. You went by goals. Big up, Kirst.
Big up, Kirst. And shout out Kirst, who's also her Game 2 ambassador as well. So big up to you, Kirst. Thanks for jumping in.
I'm just saying, if you watch that Champions League final where Barcelona played Man United, right? The United midfield couldn't even keep up with their one-touch football. And you're telling me right now, right? You know, if we've still yet to see in the Premier League, apart from the likes of Pep's teams, trying to do that one-touch football, whereas these guys were doing it 10, 15 years ago. They were playing one-touch.
Arsenal were
yeah,
doing
to a
that 20
certain,
years ago.
yeah, but not to a consistent degree, if you know what I mean. Not compared to, that's what I mean. And I'm telling you, you know, when I watched that Champions League final, right, against Man United, and that was a very good United team, by the way. I'm telling you, that game for me turned it all around. Well, these guys are untouchable to a certain degree. And that's what I mean.
The good old days. Back in the days where I wouldn't get depression when watching Man United. Back in the good old days. We've gone from, you know, the likes of, you know, using that final, you know, the likes of Scholes and Carrick to McTominay and Fred. Yeah. I don't think I can say any more with that. I don't know.
I understand Graham's argument, right? You're looking at numbers and stuff, but midfield's a position where you can't really look numbers. You're trying to dictate play and you're trying to create and defend and do a number of things. When you look at the likes of Conor Gallagher, does he remind you of a Patrick Vieira or does he more remind you of a Xavi or an Iniesta? And I would say it's the latter. But that's just my opinion. I just think the Barcelona players that came through La Masia were much better than what Graham's talking about. Ask Graham if he thinks Arteta is a better man than Emery. The answer will tell you.
Emery's a better manager. Emery's a better manager.
Right, you know,
I know about football.
Let's have some closing arguments because literally the Champions League game starts in 3 minutes. And so, realistically, you've been quiet for a minute. And
I'm talking to my doctor, bro. She can't believe this man talking this shit. Yeah.
Graham, did anyone pull up, just quickly, did anyone pull up the stats on Zidane? I don't know what they are. Did anyone pull up those stats?
They're slightly better than Iniesta.
Right. But Graham, do you think Zidane could have done it in the Premier League? Do you think he's better than
I never
Patrick
said they could do
Vieira?
it in the Premier League. I never said they couldn't.
No, do you think? Oh, sorry. Let me rewind back. Do you think Zidane is overrated?
No.
Then why do you think Iniesta and Xavi are
Because
overrated?
they're great. They're the best players midfielders ever, and they're not.
What about R9 though? What about R9 though? He didn't score much goals, so he technically
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Oh, okay.
Great player. He scored enough goals. I'm not saying
I can't say anything. I'm meant to be impartial.
Great player. Say what you want, Rich.
No, I was just going to say, because you said obviously like with Xavi and Iniesta that they had kind of like the setup and the players around them. R9 kind of had the Galacticos. So that kind of then...
Another party boy, man. He destroyed his own career.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
No, but apart from the party boy thing, we're just saying, like, you know, it depends on
you know
when you're watching
the problem is,
quality
you man
players.
just watch English football, bro. That's what's going on, bro. You might need to watch other leagues, bro. Because this is a waste of time thing here, Rich. You can't get nothing in here. These man watch one league, fam, and them chatting absolute ass, bro. It's doing my head in, fam. These man just believe in the league they watch, bro, because it's the best league to them and don't care about nothing else, bro. So arguments don't make sense here, bro. It have nothing to apply here. Have nothing to apply. All this man is on is he's a party boy, he's doing this. Bro, I could imagine what these man saying about Pogba, bro. You probably Graham Souness twin, fam.
Yeah, Lucas is spawning
this, bro. This is wild, bro.
Massive assumption to say we don't watch other football, isn't it?
Bro, you don't, bro, because you won't say some of the
That's
shit
not.
you're saying,
You can't say that though, can you? I do watch other
You
football.
won't say some of that shit you're saying, though.
Of course I do.
All opinion, really. It's all opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, these opinions.
Just on this.
Your opinion's wrong.
Yours
opinion, but you're wrong.
Order. There we go. Sorry. Lucas's point is right here. It was Ronaldo's patella. That caused a lot of the issues rather than the party. The party lifestyle happened afterwards. Same with like Adriano as well, to be fair. He fell right off. Dave, I'm gonna have you to say the last word real quick, then we'll go do the rounds, see where everyone can find each other as per usual. Guys, after the stream, not in this comment section, but after the stream, chuck in your unpopular opinion. We're gonna look to come back and do more of these and stuff because there's probably so many different opinions that are just looking like crazy. You know, I mean, Graham mentioned earlier how someone said that Messi was overrated. That needs to be discussed because that is
that's nuts.
That's a wild statement.
I nearly fell over when he messaged me that.
I thought you said Graham said that then.
You know, so just quickly, Dave, Xavi and Iniesta, what were your thoughts on them?
My thoughts on both of them. I mean, for me, they're two of the best midfielders I think the world's ever seen. Both of them, along with Sergio Busquets, revolutionized the roles of midfielders. When you talk about the roles of defensive midfielders, the roles of the 8 and a 10, those three as a midfield trio were the first I saw. That for me, that revolutionized, you know, the ability to have an extremely fluid midfield, whereas I felt like midfields back in those earlier days were just not necessarily that they were completely static, but in the sense that, how do you say it? Like they with that Pep Guardiola tiki-taka style, for me, they were a huge part of what changed football in an entirety. For me, those both of them for me are two of the greatest central midfielders we will ever see play, and for me, it's an absolute privilege to grow up and to watch both of them play. For me, so they're absolutely phenomenal footballers.
Cool. Let's do the rounds. Guys. In fact, we'll start off with you, Dave. Shout out where people can find you.
Where you can find me at Dave_20 on Instagram. You can also go and subscribe, watch my YouTube channel, Premier League Primetime. We're also on Instagram, iTunes, Apple Podcast, Spotify. At PL Primetime is the name for our Instagram account. We're trying to get to 150 subscribers. And one place you won't find me, you will not find me in front of the telly watching Man United or probably the rest of the season, because I don't feel like instilling my depression anymore.
Fair enough, mate. Ollie, where can they find you?
DJ Sinclair on YouTube, Reds1K.
DJ Sinclair on. Okay, awesome. What content do you do so the viewers will know?
I do music and stuff like that. Yeah.
Brilliant. And if where can't they find you?
Yeah, big up everyone. Big up. It's all opinions here. Big up. You can find me here, there, and everywhere. Graham's channel, Daddy and the Don, where Graham's the daddy, as always.
It's coming.
Oh my god! Oh, I'm getting violated.
You can find me at Eagle Eye Football. Everyone, please do subscribe. Tariq Talks, Munzi Talks, Realist Twitch channel, One Touch TV. But yeah, big up everyone, and yeah, please do subscribe. Lucas, you know what? I'll get you later, bro. I'll get you later.
Jay, big up.
What are you saying, man? Yeah, I just talk on Daddy and Don with Graham. I don't really have my own stuff.
Cool.
Bro, nah, don't find me, fam. I don't want to hear this bullshit takes, fam. Don't find me, bro. Keep me out of this. Keep it moving, blood. Nah.
I don't know what to say. Yes.
You can find me on Daddy and the Don Sports YouTube channel. We've just gone past 200 subscribers. We do lives, and we also do predictions for every Premier League and Champions League game, FA Cup games. Rich, T, Jay, and Hanif have all been on there and abouts. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram, Daddy and the Don Sports. Phil, who was on earlier, is the co-host. So give us a subscribe. As Rich said earlier on, we're going to be doing more of these debates. Someone did message me earlier saying Messi was overrated. I nearly fell over. But yeah, put in the comments, guys, what you think. Any unpopular opinion. And thank you, Rich.
No problems. No, well, I'll be lying if I said it was very hard to keep quiet. By the way, Jay, are you filming a murder scene?
Nah.
Resident Evil man background. Resident Evil background. That is big up, Jay, man. Big up, Jay. Well, I don't know what you're up to, but whatever it is, keep smiling.
Big up to Millhouse. He's gone now. See you later, Millhouse.
As we said earlier, guys, not this comment section here on the live, but after the show's done, go back to the stream and just chuck in unpopular opinion on either channel, whether it's Eagle Eye Football or Daddy and the Don, sorry. Chuck them in. Me and Graham will keep discussing about these unpopular opinions and get some more streams going, I guess. So yeah, big up to everyone inside. I'm going to enjoy Real Madrid beating Chelsea. And peace.
Peace.
See you later.